Florida's controversial legislation passing, now sent to the governor there tonight. It's called the Parental Rights in Education Bill. Critics call it the Don't Say Gay Bill.
Got a bit of breaking news out of Florida. In the last hour, the state's governor, Ron DeSantis, signed the controversial Parental Rights in Education Bill. This new law, dubbed the Don't Say Gay Bill by its opponents, bans classroom instruction on sexual orientation or gender identity in the kindergarten through the third grade.
A battle over Florida's Don't Say Gay Bill could mean big changes for Disney World.
Well, David, at Disney's annual shareholder meeting, CEO Bob Chapek responded to the criticism for failing to come out in opposition to that so-called Don't Say Gay Bill.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has signed into law what critics are calling the Don't Say Gay Bill. This controversial measure limits instruction about gender identity and sexual orientation in elementary schools. It has drawn intense scrutiny from LGBTQ advocates, students, the White House, and the entertainment industry.
Governor Ron DeSantis has signed into law what critics call the Don't Say Gay Bill.
Florida now, where Governor Ron DeSantis has signed into law the controversial Don't Say Gay Bill that restricts classroom instruction about sexual orientation and gender identity in elementary schools.
Now, students in grades K through 12 have gone through a lot over the past couple years between COVID restrictions, ever-changing mask mandates, debates now over critical race theory, and the newly introduced Don't Say Gay Bill in Florida. All these heavy topics are impacting students' mental health.
Today, Governor Ron DeSantis signed the controversial Don't Say Gay Bill, as critics call it, into law. The legislation has sparked heated debate across the nation for months now.
Florida's controversial and contentious Don't Say Gay Bill is officially the law. Governor DeSantis signing it yesterday.
Yeah, President Biden has denounced the measure as hateful. The Walt Disney Company has vowed to help repeal the law.
Show it off official.
Tonight, it's official. Florida's controversial Don't Say Gay Bill, as it's known by critics, signed into law by Governor Ron DeSantis.
We will make sure that parents can send their kids to school to get an education, not an indoctrination.
We should be able to have discussions, and that's what we're encouraged to do in kindergarten. And then personally, because my kids do have questions. They want to know who my partner is in pictures outside of my classroom, and I should be able to speak to that. It scares me that I am not going to be able to have these conversations with my children, because they're going to ask me what I did on the weekend. I don't want to have to hide that my partner and I went paddleboarding this weekend, because then they ask, well, what does partner mean, Mr. Bernard? And, I'm worried, can I tell them what it means? I'm also worried for my kids. I have a little girl this year who has two moms, and the kids are curious about her two moms. They want to know about her two moms. If they go to her and ask her about her two moms and she doesn't know what to say, they're going to come to me and ask me. And then, so what do? It opens up for parents to really take some legal action against the schools and teachers, and I am afraid for myself, my colleagues, and my students.
So during third period, we have announcements and they do the Pledge of Allegiance. My room does not have a flag. It used to be there, but I took it down during COVID because it made me uncomfortable. And I packed it away and I don't know where, and I haven't found it yet. My kid today goes, hey, it's kind of weird that we just stand and then, we say it to nothing. And I'm like, oh, well, I gotta find it. In the meantime, I tell this kid, we do have a flag in the class that you can pledge your allegiance to. And he looks around and he goes, oh, that one?
She points to the LGBTQ pride flag.
When she called me, I was shaking and crying, and I just couldn't even form thoughts. I was very upset.
Dawn Snodgrass, livid after hearing a political discussion in her daughter's class, took a turn.
And the teacher said that it's sinful to be trans and change your body. And it was very infuriating because I have a lot of friends that are LGBTQ, and then I am.
12-year-old Kerrigan says this isn't the first time something like this has happened.
After they brought up the Bible and that they were killing back then, There was no need for that to be brought up.
The principal telling Kerrigan's mother that her daughter's teacher was humiliated, horrified, and sorry.
She knew what she had done and that she won't do it again. And I told him that's not enough for me.
Florida yesterday, that controversial parental rights in education bill, also known as the Don't Say Gay bill, was signed into law. Doesn't Florida have other things to worry about, like drunk driving their ATVs into the swamp? I mean, I kind of love it's called Don't Say Gay because you have to say gay to say it. But the bill itself is ridiculous. It bans kindergarten through third grade educators from addressing topics of sexual orientation or gender identity. That way they can focus on the important things, like teaching the kids how to play the recorder. Under the new law, a teacher can't explain to a second grader that their governor is a dickhead. That kind of language is not allowed anymore. It's up to parents to explain that their governor is a dickhead.
We've actually have different things, and this is not something that I thought was something that was going to be around. So this is something this is in Florida and other places, school for very young kids. The genderbread man. So this is trying to sow doubt about kids, about their gender identity. It's trying to say that, they could be whatever they want to be. This is inappropriate.
And then he ate it in front of everybody. That's Governor Ron DeSantis. His pronouns are he and haw. Really is frightening, though. I mean,
last week, I asked my children if I could check the books that they've picked up from the school. My son picked up this brand new book from the shelves in class, Lawn Boy. He was under the impression it was about a kid that ends up with a gig mowing the grass at Disneyland. I'd like to share a few quotes with you. This first one, just turn it around. On page 19, not that it really matters in 4th grade, at a church youth group meeting out in the bushes, I touched Doug Goebel's and he touched mine. In fact, there was even some mouths involved. Next one, page 91. What if I told you I touched another guy's? What if I told you I sucked it? I was 10 years old, but it's true. I put Doug Goebel's in my mouth. I was in 4th grade. It was no big deal. He sucked mine too. And you know what? It wasn't terrible. Page 174. I don't know if I made a sign for this one.
Fonte showed 6-year-olds a cartoon during her sex ed class that featured small children discussing touching themselves because, quote, it feels good. Here's what that cartoon sounded like.
How come my penis gets big sometimes and points up in the air?
That's called an erection.
Sometimes I touch my penis because it feels good.
Sometimes when I'm in my bath or when Mom puts me to bed, I like to touch my vulva too.
You have a clitoris there, Kayla, that probably feels good to touch the same way Keith's penis feels good when he touches it. But have you ever noticed that older kids and grown-ups don't touch their private parts in public?
They don't?
That's right, Keith. It's okay to touch yourself and see how different body parts feel, but it's best to only do it in private.
I mean, first of all, I just have a question. Since that seems kind of judgmental to me. I mean, so long as they're teaching kids about masturbation in 1st grade, I don't see why it should only be in private. I mean, shouldn't we learn from the innocence of the children? I mean, truly, if you're on the radical left and you believe that this sort of stuff should be taught to the children, why? I mean, really, isn't that why are you teaching them shame? Are you kink shaming these children? The bizarre perversity of teaching this to 1st graders is beyond me. But let's be real about this. I don't think sex ed should be taught in public school classrooms at all. I think they should be learning biology. Like basic human biology would be good. We have schools that are churning out kids who don't know basic reading or math. But you're going to let these moron teachers somehow teach your children about sexual values. Makes perfect sense. Sounds great.